What's going on, Nerd Nation? This is Sleevecard signing in and welcoming you back to another week and another battle of the Professional Battle League that is the PBL. So this week, you guys, we are taking on the Golden State Warriors, as represented here on screen by Porcelain Doll, but in the league, his name's Poppy Boy. So I will tell you right off the bat, full disclaimer, this is not going to be our best battle, and this just shows you the plague of overprediction in and of itself. The one thing I am a little excited about, so we changed the team up just a little bit, not in the fact of who's on the team, but I did change some of the movesets up a little bit, and you can kind of see that as the battle progresses. So I've changed the movesets up just a little bit. Also, this is the last week of the PBL before the playoffs. So I wanted to tweak some things just to kind of feel it out because we are already in the playoffs. So I wanted to see just how the team would perform if I changed some things to get it a little ready for that. So let's go ahead and jump right on into it. So as we're loading up, the first thing I can tell you, this is the first mistake I do in overprediction. So looking at their team, I saw Tapu Koko on their team. So I instantly went, okay, Tapu Koko is going to be their lead. They're going to set up Electric Surge, all that kind of stuff. So I end up going into our Rose Raid, thinking that I can just Sludge Bomb this Tapu Koko. But as you can see, we actually start off with just a horrible matchup. So I go in for the swap here for Lando, because I know if I can get a Rock Slide off, that'll take out Mega Beedrill. And this is Mega Beedrill, so it is going to have to Mega Evolve right here on the first turn. Because the rules in the PBL are that if you have the Mega, it has to evolve turn 1 that is out. So I knew that he was going to end up Mega Evolving into Beedrill. He plays it smart, actually, by going for Knockoff, because I think he predicted, or she, or whoever, I think they predicted that we're going to swap into something else. So they were smart going for the Knockoff, which loses our Rocky Helmet, which is a giant pain. Especially because Rocky Helmet has put in work this season. Like, you guys have watched the battles, you've seen Rocky Helmet and Spikes. We've ridden that through chip damage all throughout the season. So losing the Rocky Helmet was not good. Then, obviously a smart prediction here, swapping into the Milotic. I just went for the Rock Slide, kind of knowing that I'd get whatever damage off. So then I go into U-turn, because I don't want to give away the free turn. And I'm going to send out our Raikou. And the reason I go for that is I know he's going to set up with Scald. So I know they're going to use Scald, and they do. So I know the Scald's going to come in. And unfortunately, we end up getting the Burn. And this is like the second week in a row we've gotten Burn off of freaking Scald or whatever it was that we got it off of John last week. So this is the second time we've gotten this. So he ends up swapping out, obviously. It's a poor type matchup. I just went for the Thunderbolt because I kind of predicted that he wouldn't go into Koko into my Raikou. So I went for Thunderbolt, just kind of assuming I'd get at least neutral stab damage off on whatever it is. But unfortunately, we don't have the best matchup here because I'm a little worried that this thing's going to have Earthquake on it. So I go in for the Volt Switch, thinking it's either going to have Earthquake or like Earth Power. And I go into Keldeo, because I figure Keldeo can absorb the Earthquake, and if it goes for a Fire move, which it does, so it goes for Flamethrower, we can absorb the Flamethrower. And I just go for the Scald. Obviously he has the Berry, but the Berry doesn't do crap. He's so low right now, plus this Keldeo's Life Orbed, that even with the Pasho Berry, like, we take it out. So it's not a big deal so far. Obviously, right now I'm kind of playing from behind because that first, like, instinctive send out a Rose Raid really threw us off. And then I make another misplay here. And this one, I can't really justify, so I will go for Scald. I can tell you why I did it, but it doesn't really justify it. So I accidentally hit Scald because I was trying to pull up the accuracy on Secret Sword, which is the moveset down below it. The move slot down below it, and I accidentally hit Scald. So, unfortunately, that kind of throws away that move, but at least the Secret Sword comes out, and we are able to get the KO here. The downside, of course, is that we lost more like HP to Life Orb than we probably needed to. So now we finally see the Tapu Koko. Now at this point, I'm thinking whatever I swap into is not going to be able to take a stab hit from Tapu Koko, really. So I just kind of sack off Keldeo. In retrospect, I wish I would have swapped into Lando and just kind of absorbed it, but I didn't. So unfortunately, I sacked off Keldeo just to kind of swap in cleanly here. Now, he does it smart again. Here's the thing. So I sent out Roserade. I'm trying to pressure this thing out with Sludge Bomb. So in that sense, we did it because he does get pressured out. Obviously, we're going to drop a Sludge Bomb here. And we do it into his Mega Beedrill. Now, here's what's crazy to me. So this thing is resisted. It's resisted. We have lefties on it. It's not like we have choice anything on here, nothing like that, and this thing still does that much damage. Like, it's just unreal. I've been surprised with how much damage Roserade can really dish out. So I go in for my Klefki. Now, obviously we're gonna lose the knockoff, which does suck because that Focus Sash actually does it quite a bit for us. But I go in for Thunder Wave. I'm like, whatever, we'll paralyze this. It's gonna be a pain in the ass later to deal with, so at least with the paralysis I won't have to sweat it later, right? He goes for the U-turn, whatever. I kind of figured he would, just to get rid of it. Now, he sends in Zygarde next. And this thing, I will tell you, this Zygarde right here is just obnoxious for us. This Zygarde's probably the sole reason we lost the battle. Because, so he goes for 1,000 arrows. In retrospect, and this whole game is about retrospect and, like, hindsight. I wish instead, like, what I had gone for was Play Rough. I wish instead of Play Rough, because I knew I couldn't outspeed this thing, I wish I had gone for Spikes at that point. Because I figure if I had gotten Spikes off, at least it would have done something when he was swapping. It's better than getting nothing, right? No, he goes in for his Volbeat here. And I go for the Ice Beam. I'm like, whatever, if I hit Zygarde, it'll do damage. If not, at least it'll do something. So, it doesn't do as much as I'd like, because I'm surprised at how bulky Volbeat honestly is. Now, I go in for Lando. He does the Tail Glow, which I kind of figured he would, because there's not a whole lot you can do with Volbeat besides Tail Glow. So I'm going into Lando. I just get my Rock Slide off. I know that I can outspeed this thing. It's whatever. It has no defenses to speak of. At least no physical defense to speak of. So we take it out. No sweat. It is what it is. But here's where the battle starts to really unravel for us. So in comes freaking Zygarde, right? Zygarde outspeeds everything I have on my team at this point. And they just use it to their advantage. So they go for Outrage. Obviously at under half, Lando's not going to take that hit. We don't have the Rocky Helmet anymore, so we can't really punish back on the Rocky Helmet. So next I go into Clawitzer. I'm like, whatever. If it has a full HP, maybe it slightly survives. Maybe, you know, I'll get, like, Confusion early, something like that. So I go for that. Gone. Because, again, no defenses. Clawitzer's, like, pretty much exclusively special attack. Now we see Roserade. Same thing. I'm like, whatever. Oh, maybe we Leaf Storm it. Gone. So at this point, I'm like, I know the match is over because there's no way that our burnt Raikou's going to come out and clean the floor with this, because Burn's going to catch up to it eventually. Look how it's like under half HP, just under half HP. But he does swap out because of the Confusion. So he's a little, I'm assuming they're a little worried that the Confusion's going to hit and slowly chip away that way. Now, I kind of figured that's what's going to happen. So the problem I have now is Tapu Koko and Zygarde both can handle my Thunderbolt like with no sweat. So I just go into for Shadow Ball because this particular Raikou I was running had Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Shadow Ball, and Calm Mind. Well, two of those moves I can't really use, so I'm just spamming Shadow Ball at this point, trying to get as much damage in as possible. But unfortunately, there it is. He KOs us. Now, we do get like a little moral victory right here where the Life Orb kicks in and takes out Koko. So it will go on the records as a 2-0 loss, but in reality, it was much worse than that because that Zygarde just handled us. So there's the battle, guys. Obviously, we took the loss. Now, there are some things I changed on the team that I'm happier about. Like, obviously, so one of the things you saw was Klefki. So previously Klefki was running Toxic. Well, I swapped out Toxic for Thunderwave, so you saw Thunderwave kind of put in some work there. I mean, I only used it once, but it definitely did what it needed to do. Other moves, so I changed up Roserade a bit as well. Previously, Roserade was running Leaf Storm, Sludge Bomb, Spikes, and Sleep Powder. Well, I swapped out Sleep Powder for Toxic, just figuring like, hey, it's going to hit more often than Sleep Powder is, and this way I'll be able to get like more consistent kind of pressure on there. So I swapped those two out, and overall I just kind of like got a feel for it. And the other big thing I changed was on Clawitzer. So Clawitzer was running Darkinium Z in our last battle, because I did go in with like 2 Z moves. So I swapped that out, and off the top of my head, I can't remember what I gave it exactly. Oh no, I gave him Scope Lens. So I put Scope Lens on there because I figured like, hopefully if he gets a hit or two, maybe I can get a crit here and there. Who knows? If he had Focus Energy and a Scope Lens, my life would be set, because then we'd be just dropping crits on everybody. But I figured like maybe the +1 on the crit, you know, might matter at some point. Obviously it didn't, because Clawitzer didn't get any moves off. Like, he got 1 move off on the Volbeat, but that was it. But, excitingly enough, we are moving forward into the playoffs, so that's the team. Now, of course, we do have other Pokemon on the team that I haven't used in a couple weeks. We still have Cresselia, we still have Uxie, which you guys haven't seen at all. We have Mega Sableye on the team as well. We also have Torkoal, so there are some options out there for things that we can add into the team. We can move around, stuff like that. I don't know who we're going to end up battling in the first round of the playoffs, so it really depends on that. But at least we've made it into the playoffs, which I can tell you really exceeds kind of my goal going into the first season of the league for me, because this is my first like professional or semi-professional competitive draft league. So for me, just being competitive in the league was really my goal heading into the season. Like, if I can be competitive enough to hold up my own against other competitive players, that will go a long way for me. So being able to make it into the playoffs, even if we, you know, aren't the best seed or the top player or whatever it was in the regular season, we've already exceeded my expectations. But that being said, guys, tune in next week as we start doing knockout rounds in the playoffs. So hopefully we can make it into round 2. Because I think we've honestly been improving week over week. This week, obviously not included. But with that being said, guys, go ahead and leave a like and comment down below, letting me know what you think our team should look like going into the playoffs. If you like the set that we currently have of these 6, if you want us to swap in some of the other team members, like I said, we do have some I know you guys haven't really seen in a while. We haven't used Uxie and we haven't used Sableye all season, so maybe those might make an appearance just to throw somebody off. Who knows? But let me know down below what you guys think I should run as our 6 Pokemon. And actually, you know what? I'll leave a comment down below with our whole 12-team Pokemon. That way, there's no confusion about who we can use. And you guys let me know what you think our 6 Pokemon out of there should be for our playoffs. And, of course, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, because I want to keep posting a bunch of stuff every single time I'm on here, whether that is pack battles, whether that is PBL, whether that's openings, Let's Plays, whatever the case may be. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you guys can keep up with everything we're doing out here on the channel. But, with that being said, before I ramble on too much longer, this is Sleevecard signing out. Have yourselves a beautiful day.